Welcome back to Unraveled Radio, where we dive into natural hair, entrepreneurship, love, and food. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. She's a MasterChef alum and a talented chef and a passionate advocate for using food to connect communities. Hailing right here from Michigan, she has built a platform that not only showcases her incredible dishes, but also fosters inclusivity and cultural appreciation through food. You may know her from her Instagram page, Amanda's Plate, where she shares her love of cooking and storytelling. The amazing chef, Amanda Saab, we're so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me and for this opportunity.
Oh, you're so welcome. Um, when I met you during the book signing and everything, I just kept looking at you. I'm like, she looks so familiar. Where do I know her from? And then you told me, and I'm like, I just only just had the idea at that moment, and now here we are actually doing the podcast. So that's wonderful. You think of something, and next thing you know, you're doing it.
You're doing it. And I think that's like speak to you and like your drive and determination and just like creative outlet. Like I respect it so much.
Thank you very much. Can you share your journey into the culinary world and what inspired you to become a chef?
My journey into the culinary world is not much different than most people. I was grew up in the kitchen with my grandmothers and my mom, but my grandmothers really like took me under their wing while they were cooking and they're like, I'm going to show you how to do this. My grandmother would have me and my sisters and my cousins line up and learn how to roll grape leaves with her, and that's how I learned how to make, traditional Lebanese food. But my parents were really big on like, you got to go to college, you got to go to grad school. Like, we didn't get the chance to have those opportunities, and you do. So you got to take that and run with it. So my career actually began as a social worker. But I've always been connected to people and food and bringing people together through food. And as I was working as a social worker, I was burnt out. I was so young and carrying the weight of the world and everyone's problems with me, not really fully understanding the boundaries of work. But also as an empath, I couldn't go home and turn off the people I had seen at work and just, forget about it. And I learned that about myself. So I'm like, okay, how do I want to engage with this world in a way that's good for me and that I can contribute to everyone else? So while I was working as a social worker, I was like, okay, I can't do this forever. I saw the ad for MasterChef. It was like, do you have what it takes to be the next MasterChef? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I do.
Yes.
I've been a social worker. I could cook for Gordon Ramsay. So and MasterChef really is what propelled me into my career in food. I had my food blog and I was sharing recipes, but it really took me to the next level, gave me that exposure. I was able to create a base, a following, and then I was able to do pop-ups and events and all the other really cool things, meet incredible people like yourself, like because I took that chance, to go and cook for Gordon Ramsay on MasterChef.
Oh man, that's so awesome. So what place, like how far did you make it on the show?
So the first time, so I actually went on MasterChef twice. The first time was in 2015, and I was number 13. So out of 20, almost middle of the pack. But then they did an All-Stars reunion, back to win. So like contestants from previous seasons that didn't win for another opportunity to win, and I was number 6 there.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. And I've watched every episode, every season. So no wonder when I first saw you, it was like, hey, I know her. I just saw her yesterday. Because I watch it on repeat all day long.
Oh,
And
I
that's
love that.
that's wonderful to see how that experience has shaped your career. Any other monumental things that happened since you left the show, as far as food?
So I actually opened a bakery. I owned a bakery for 2 years. Butter Bear Shop. We put that to rest. It was a lot. It was my first time, running a brick and mortar, having a full team in this way. Um, and the pandemic happened, and it was time for me to close.
Where was that located?
It was in Livonia. So, I grew up in Dearborn, my whole life, and then after grad school, I moved to Seattle, lived there for 5 years. And when I came back home, I didn't have, I don't know what I was thinking going to Livonia. This is just, I don't know. It was a turnkey. It was a previously run bakery, a Lithuanian bread bakery. And the guy was super nice and it was gonna be so easy. I can just like move in, basically turnkey. And the price was right. It was like, I'm gonna do it.
Go for it, right?
And then after I was like, oh, I'm not in the right place. And you
Definitely.
can't move your business somewhere else.
Right, I definitely understand. I've been talking about that a lot. That it's one thing to step out on faith and try something. We also have to be intelligent enough to know when it's not working to bag out and not feel like a failure because that's part of your story. At least you tried.
Absolutely. And I met so many people through that and I learned a
Exactly.
lot. And
That's
the less
wonderful. Now you know if
you
I
can,
knew about the bakery, I'd have been up there. So you're very passionate about using food to bring communities together. Can you tell us about your initiatives?
yeah, so it was actually it's kind of like everything's happening full circle in life right now. It was during Donald Trump's first presidency when he called for a Muslim ban. And I was watching the news and I was like, okay, you're banning them from coming into this country. What's going to happen for the Muslims that are already in this country, born and raised? Like, what does this mean? And I was feeling helpless for a moment, and then I said, I can reach out to people in the community and invite them over and like let them meet their Muslim neighbor. So I started dinner with your Muslim neighbor, and it was just like a Facebook post. And I was living in Seattle, like all my people are here. Those like all new people. I would go to churches, be like, "Hey, I want to build bridges. Let's have a meal together. Like, how can we do this together?" And the support and like the encouragement and people are just curious and genuinely good people. So setting the table and creating a meal and then having the opportunity to have a conversation like we are now. You can ask me anything. Like, let's just break these bridges, and really get to know each other on a human level. Because I think that's really what's creating a lot of divisiveness. And now, even almost 10 years later, just seeing like everything that's unfolding, it's we're I don't think we're connected to ourselves and we're definitely not connected to each other. And what better way can we do that than with a meal?
That's
Um,
wonderful.
thank and then 2 Octobers ago, during the genocide, I started Chefs for Palestine. Because I was like, what can I do? And what I know how to do is make food and people will come. Like, so I called on all my chef friends. I said, hey, let's do, a fundraising benefit together and like let's see what happens. And it was greatly successful. We had a ton of support. A lot of people came out. We ended up having two more events and raised over $100,000 for relief efforts in Palestine.
Awesome. Yes, that is wonderful. And
Thank you.
when you were doing these dinners, was the cuisine mostly Middle Eastern, or were you mixing it up a bit?
Oh, it was definitely mixed up. I have chef friends that cook all types of cuisines. So we had food from Burundi. So Nadia and Mambo were there. Um f- uh we had Asian food. We had Arabic food. We had all sorts of things. It was absolutely like delicious. It was almost like a eat your way around the world event.
So the shot could have been there.
If we do another, I will be sure to give you a personal invitation.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So if you could best describe yourself in one dish that represents you, what would that be?
It would definitely be baklava cheesecake, so baklava cheesecake. It's actually what I auditioned for MasterChef with, and it became my signature dessert. And I think it speaks to who I am. So I'm Lebanese, born in America. My grandma taught me how to make baklava when I was a kid, and the first recipe I learned how to make by myself, was a New York style cheesecake, and that
Oh,
kind of became my signature. Like as a kid, that was just like playing in the kitchen and bringing things to family dinners and celebrations and that sort of thing. So combining the two, I think best represents me. So,
sounds so good. Like I like baklava and I like cheesecake, so I would definitely enjoy that. What advice could you give to aspiring chefs and entrepreneurs in the food industry?
two things. One, I would say pace yourself. It's easy to get caught up in, I think now, like more than ever, it's like the celebrity chef and when you're working in food, you're working on your feet, you're working with your body. It's exhausting. So pace yourself, take care of your health, and your success will find you. It'll be there. And the second thing is just keep going. It's so easy to stop because this work is hard. But keep cooking. Don't stop no matter what.
What are you working on right now?
So I'm currently the guest chef for vinyl tasting. So I will be cooking this weekend, which I'm really excited for their Sade vinyl tasting. And I chose No Ordinary Love as my song inspiration for the dessert course, which is like a dark chocolate cake with tarragon spiced cherries. We have chin chin, little Nigerian donuts that I'm making to put on there. It's really something special. So that's one short-term project. One long-term project. I'm working to host wellness events for women so that we can nourish our mind, body, and spirits together. I think one of the things we've lost in recent society and for women in my age group is we don't have the opportunity to talk to each other. And so much of our cultures, it's like women talking is how things happen. And we've
Yes.
lost that with technology, with the busyness of life. Everyone has a million things going on. So how can we create like intentional space for women to talk about life, what's happening, motherhood, politics, everything around us. Like, how are we going to navigate this? And I, want to provide that space and opportunity for us to just talk, eat, maybe do some movement, and just have a good time.
And how would one go about joining that movement?
Um, More information will be available. I'm hoping to launch by June. So,
Okay, that's wonderful. Looking forward to it. And I guess if they follow your Instagram, then all that stuff will be up there.
absolutely.
That's great. Ooh. So if you could call one chef right now, who would you call? If you just that's
Gordon.
last Gordon. I love Gordon.
Because, hey, look, I went through so much to cook for him. Like, what are we gonna do? We gotta collab on a project. Like,
He's awesome. So yeah, I can't believe that we spoke and we met, and then it's actually not even a whole year later. We're right here doing this. Any other projects you have you like to share with us?
um, you'll have to excuse me. My brain is also very fried after
It's
work.
okay.
Like, what am I working
Very,
on?
very relaxed environment, no pressure.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm writing more. I'm hoping to share my writing and just kind of like my experience, like post-divorce. It's something I haven't talked about publicly, but I want to share because it's not a unique experience to me. So many people experience this, and like how do we navigate life post-divorce and like what that looks like. So more writing that I'll be sharing. And if you're on my Instagram, that's where I'll share like my Substack and all of that. Um, and I'm doing really cool work in food right now at Detroit Food Academy. I love working with the youth. So we're an after-school program for youth ages 10 to 18 in Detroit and Hamtramck. And we currently have 12 cohorts. One is virtual, but we're at different sites throughout the city, and our team teaches youth how to cook. So it's like hands-on, it's fun, it's interactive, and we're cooking food from around the world, different cuisines, culturally relevant food, talking about our local food systems, and local products. So our advanced cohorts are at the Detroit People's Food Co-op, which I think is really important to share, to show the youth, like, look at what the community did coming together and created this beautiful space. And how do we keep money circular in our community? And it's by shopping at these places that are created for us to enjoy, and just being like mindful of local produce. How do we support local farmers and that sort of thing? So it's really cool work, and I'm really honored to be able to do it.
Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. I mean, I tried to come to every class I could down there last summer, and I plan on getting back into it again. I did open a restaurant since we met, but it didn't work. It didn't work out. It lasted a couple months. It was just like inside of a liquor store. Simply delish. I did like soul food. I do some Middle Eastern dishes too because I grew up like on the cusp of Hamtramck. I grew up going to school with a lot of Middle Eastern people, so I love the culture. I love the cuisine. And I miss all those restaurants that used to be like 7 Mile and Woodward with the authentic, you know, Mediterranean food. So yeah, I definitely would like to get all the links to all the programs that you're having so I can share them at the show. I would like people to subscribe, follow Amanda. And we did just do a podcast I did with another lady about overcoming divorce, or she got remarried after her divorce. So if you get a chance, check that out. Any closing
Thank you.
statement?
I will definitely listen to that. I love that. And that's the beauty of like what you created with your podcast is it like expands like all the really important areas of life. So I think that's really beautiful. Thank you for having me. I look forward to us connecting more. And if you open a restaurant again, I need to know so I can come eat and support. Please. I'll give you a personal invite. You give me a personal invite. We're friends. We're locked in now. Like, I need to know what
Yes. Amanda, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring journey with us. I'm a super fan for life. Your passion for using food strengthens communities and is truly remarkable. From MasterChef to your work in the community, you continue to show how food is more than just nourishment. It's a bridge that connects us all. We can't wait to see what's next for you, both in the kitchen and beyond.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, make sure to follow Amanda on Instagram at Amanda's Plate. And until next time, stay unraveled.